Hey, welcome to Talk,
the automotive podcast where we
tell stories that we should
and some we maybe shouldn't.
Today our guest is Corey from Midnight Lanks.
And today we're joined by Bucky from Bucky's World. Joined by my good friends, John and Bridget.
Joined by Kirsty from BC Tattoo Studios.
By Chris Nasser from the Built Camaro.
Ben, who has been one of our Midnight Lanks admin. Brandon on as well.
But it treats Parkett.
Sam from Powerplay Global and Sal.
Cream Curls Charlie.
Hi, it's been a great year from Talked Up and we've had a blast doing each episode. We're at the mental hospital.
Yes, we are.
We are all getting locked up and it's not going good.
So what you said tonight is that you met Misha that way and you also followed Henry.
I did, yeah.
So you're a stalker.
Tim stood there in his nice warm coat and I'm in a t-shirt like this.
Are you sure this is normal? And sometimes you just want to react to that idiot.
Yeah, just go.
That I'd come on to them.
What?
Bear in mind, this man was old enough to be my granddad.
I cannot do it. It's so toxic from every department.
I'd work for anyone in here. That's not a problem because I know that everyone in here doesn't have an issue.
Right, get him a brush there.
Are you not seeing a big cat eating a little dog?
Really nice, clean cars, and mine's just a dirty truck coming straight through the middle of the island. We managed to get him to shut the whole of Dracula's castle down. A lot of them end up trashing the places they go to. As soon as you walk out that door, it's theft and burglary. You've no signal on your phone or anything. You've got nothing. The dinghy popped. So it's like, how do you get back to the other time?
I've not even got time to do my own car now. Yeah, well, I should have like 3 kids in the car, no seatbelts or anything.
No seatbelts.
No seatbelts.
No.
He's doing donuts on car park.
Don't
lie.
9 points in the post for you.
No one ever mentioned the car. Every single, it was baking up, we had the roof down. Every single person said, what came first? The hair or the car?
You had the kid in the car with your Canastella.
You know what you're going to do when you've got kids.
Buy a bottle of vodka.
I gave him the kick up the backside he needed.
Or the whip. Or the headlock, I can't remember. It's like an infection. A good infection.
Good
Not an
infection.
STD. She'll ring me and say, where are you? I'm like, I'm just in the office doing some work. And then she'll do find my phone. And she'll be like, why is your office in the middle of Lake Windermere? Lying.
Bridget's the government.
I'm like, I've got a bad signal. I'm going through a tunnel.
So I was just driving along and the whole car just dropped. But I'm sort of questioning that choice at the moment. No, it's because of what I want. It's better than his. It might happen if I get left unsupervised for long enough.
Drunk eBay special. Anyway, this podcast isn't about that boy.
Yeah,
Oh, mine seems to get wrote off.
I've had my business stolen.
There's been some budget cuts, so you've ended up with me instead.
So I broke my finger and a member of staff's groin.
Seized it up, I'm like, that's it. Engine's done. I see a lick of flame come out the bonnet. And then I've never moved so fast in my life. I was like, you said they were next to the driver's door. And he went, yeah, your car's left on drive.
Crazy, no, like next thing. And I get a phone call on the park. Oh, your car's about to be pushed by the crowd. This is, hello, what's your name? Horace, what do we call it? Are you trying to steal my job?
Help me. Help me. Help me.
Everyone's got a strange story how they meet you. To be
All the legs, 88.
Oh, no. Oh, are we actually on camera?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, that's what we're
That's
doing.
all it is. We slide like that. We slide like that. Yeah.
There's been some great stories shared over the year and we're only just getting started.
I did car sales. I was a manager for an exotic car company. Used to sell Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, anything you can name. That was quite fun. That was one I didn't mind. And then I used to work for another company doing the photography and the videos of cars. You know, when you get an interest in a car, you'll probably get a video sent back of you walking around it and stuff like that. I used to do that. That company wasn't the best. Had a bit of a tough time there. They didn't seem to like the openness and the way that I was.
You'll have to elaborate a bit now. You can't just leave it there.
It was mainly just people within the company not liking me as a whole. It was like they took an instant dislike to me, came up with this plan to get rid of me, and ultimately it actually worked. I ended up losing my job there through no fault of my own.
And what did they say? What was their reason?
They'd basically come up with this story that I'd come on to them, that I fancied them.
What?
Bear in mind, this man was old enough to be my granddad. It's like I had, obviously, at the time I had my fella at home.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in you. You're literally old enough to be my granddad. So I had to sit down with my manager have a whole conversation about that. But I had a big problem with him as well, with the way that he'd spoken to me, because he spoke to me about it all in front of a load of customers, in front of other people that worked there. It was just a big shambles, really, and it was just like an overall setup to, I think, either make me lose my job, but if that wasn't successful, embarrass me enough to make me leave. But yeah, that was my experience working in the car industry. It wasn't a great one.
Tell me a little bit about Bucky's World. So what kind of content do you film? What got you into it?
It's obviously on YouTube, Bucky's World. It's urban exploring, so it's abandoned buildings. Well, not just buildings. You've got it's like
Caves, all sorts.
You've got the car caves that I did. I've done the air raid shelters. So there's a lot of different stuff. It's not just abandoned buildings. It's a variety of different things. So, but I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now, something like that. But I do enjoy doing it. It's really good. I've been to Italy. I've done stuff like that.
I was just about to say, you have travelled around doing it. You've been to a few countries. Romania, is it?
Drove all the way to Dracula's Castle. That took us just over 12 hours non-stop driving from here to all the way to Dracula's Castle. Yeah, we drove all the way there, and then we explored on the way back. So, because we actually got. They have the light at Dracula's Castle. They have the lights on at night time when it's shut. They leave the lights on, but we managed to get them to shut the whole of Dracula's Castle down that one night. So all the people who lived there were like, "Well, what's going on?" We got them to shut all the lights off, and we did like a walk round in the dark inside Dracula's Castle, and they never turned the lights off.
That's insane.
Or they let us do it. So all people who lived around were like, "Well, what's going on? Why is the lights off?" Then because they're never off.
Right, so basically I did Holy
Communion.
Holy Communion, Catholic, my niece doing whatever, I don't know what it was, but going to the church, all dressed up. I'm not religious, so she wanted the Mustang and me dressed up in a nice suit to get nice fit. So I look like a basically, or a chauffeur. She loves it. So anyway, when I was parked around the corner, a guy came up to me and said like, "Oh, nice car, do you hire it out?" And I'm like, "Oh, so you can go do donuts on Tesco car park like me?" Don't think so. And he said, no, he said, like, for wedding days and proms and stuff. I said, well, not really. No, I'm not. I'm a little bit busy with what I've got going on. I said, you've got something to ask me. I said, what is it? Go on, just cut to the chase. And I said, right. He said, basically what had happened is a lot of companies that hire cars out took overbookings. Too many bookings and let people down at the last minute. These guys promised the kids and they can't find anything. I want to make the girls or boys, why don't the kids' night at the prom special? So he told me his sob story, a little bit more, went into details. I thought, you know what, I'll help you out. Yeah, and he said, what do you want for it? I said, just put the money in an envelope, whatever you want to give me. If you want to give me anything, and put your name on it, it'll go to Dairying House. Anyway, so that was planned. And I said to Bridge, I said, do you know what, it's a bit tight that, isn't it? All these people being let down. I said, why don't you just put, I said, we've got plenty of time at night. Why don't you put it on Facebook? And just see if there's anyone else who's been let down or anyone who even can't afford it, basically someone underprivileged. The parents have got enough to spend with the prom dresses and everything else that goes aside, 500 quid. Or I think we charge them out $1,000. I think you wanted a Lambo, it's like $1,000 just for an hour.
Ridiculous.
Am I right there? I'm sure you've been at 50.
Well, I've done this. I've been to taking kids to proms. I've got a good friend of mine who's got a nice fleet of cars. He comes here, gets his cars done. So each year I used to be able to, I've got a couple of other friends who used to chuck me Bentleys and stuff like that. And it was the same. A lot of people were getting let down off these companies. Oh, they were double booking and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. And then obviously they've got carte blanche to charge whatever they want.
Charging fortunes. So I used to
taking advantage of it.
I used to get, I still get messages and phoned up until I got sick of it. I never tell them I've got a BMX. But yes, I used to do it and see it all the time, and take these kids to the proms and stuff. And some of the faces of the kids, one in particular was in a lime green, the bright green that they do Hurricane, the apple green.
Yeah.
Nice. So this one kid who's now working at Amari Supercars to his prom, and all the kids, you wanted to see him. It was a good feeling, to let them do that.
It's rewarding, especially when you've got someone who you think, do you know what? You get there, all the families outside, there's about 200 people, they're all getting the pictures and letting them sit on the bonnet and taking the roof off the side. And you think that picture's going on their nan's wall and that they're going to look at that for the rest of this, made up of it. So anyway, I said to her, why don't you stick some on Facebook and have a look? Over to you, Bridge.
It absolutely went viral. So I put it on late at night thinking...
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, most kids...
I think I've seen this on Facebook.
We met people in Turkey, and they'd seen it who were like from down south.
I remember seeing this.
It was posted in our group and everything. People were resharing it.
It was
People were
it
jumping in with us as well. Like, say there's a guy from Preston who's got an R8. Obviously, we've got to be careful because we don't know who they are. We know that we're all right, but, we can't advertise for other people. But they were saying, you guys are doing fantastic. We've got an R8. There's another guy who has a car garage who sells high-end motors. So we had an access to Bentley's, Range Rovers. He was doing what we were doing, but just doing it a bit more low-key.
He hadn't put it on Facebook.
He had a brain and didn't go viral on Facebook.
But literally, it went absolutely mental. So I put it on late at night thinking, most parents will book cars. They'll probably get a few requests. We woke up the next day, and one of my daughters rang us and was like, it's gone absolutely mental. We was getting people from Scotland, London, Newcastle, literally asking us how far would we travel. Some people were saying they was willing to pay, but basically what we did, like John said, we did it for Derry and House. We just wanted them to donate to a good cause. I mean,
a
not
lot of
only
people
that,
bought me a box of beer as well.
They didn't go to Derry House. So you had the kid in the car with your can of Stella.
I didn't drink drive, by the way.
But no, we did it as well because in the past we have fell on hard times. So we've got kids ourselves. We know what it's like, you know what I mean? It's the difference between, do you pay your electric bill, your gas bill to keep the house warm, or do you give your kids what they want, you know what I mean, to make their day special. You know what you're going to do when you've got kids.
Buy a bottle of vodka.
Drawing your sorrows.
Basically, it was my next door neighbour that I lived next door to. She was a bookkeeper, so she was doing my books at the time. So this was like the first year after everything. So from the beginning, I had a shop in Chorley, and I had someone that I used to DJ with that come into the shop to tattoo. And he basically did a runner, took all my stock and didn't pay the rent. So my landlord was a Chinese gentleman that didn't really speak much English. And explained, obviously, you'll get your rent, but can I pay it over a couple of months? And he's basically like, no rent, no business. So step in my next door neighbour, we'll help you out, blah, blah, blah. So we moved into this new studio, and she basically thought it was her business just because she'd helped me move it all. And locked me out, took everything. And police wouldn't do anything because it was a civil matter. So I lost all my stuff. And luckily, I had one of the nicest friends ever. They basically goes, we've got a credit card there, not much, $2,000, whatever you can get with it, do it. So that literally got me back on my feet. I had a little tiny studio inside this building, the old doctor's building in Leyland, and then just went from there.
Wow.
And then got my nice new shop now, and fingers crossed. We've been there 5 years nearly, so carry
you're
on.
smashing it now. So
So we took it to the dyno day. It's called Motorsport Performance in Leeds. Cracking guys. Now, I rent the dyno off them. So I speak to Denton, who's up there, who's the tuner, and I'm like, can I borrow your dyno, please? Can I borrow your £50,000 dyno cell to use? And he's like, So anyway, I got to know him, and then he's eventually like, sort it out. Yeah, no, here's the keypad. This is what you do, and he's fantastic. So he let me loose for a little bit. So I'm sat on dyno tuning away, thinking like I'm fantastic. Now, I only learnt to tune because I want it done properly. So I've got maybe OCD, or I'm a bit of a perfectionist, as you could probably see with Camaro. So I'm like, I'm going to learn how to tune so I can tune it and make sure it's right. Because I had somebody tune it before and it wasn't right. It kept blowing head gaskets. So I'm like, I'm going to tune it this time. So I learned how to tune basically all the HP Academy sort of stuff that you pay for, and it's literally numbers at the end of the day. You're looking at numbers, you're reading numbers, and as long as they match up, you pretty much tune it. It'd be all and end all. So first car, not dyno. So I'm tuning away. Now because we're on turbos, you've got to watch your load that you're putting on. So the hub dyno we're on is called an eddy brake dyno. So you can lock it at any single RPM you want. So you can be at 5,000 RPM, foot flat to the floor, and it will stay at 5,000 RPM, but the car is going for it, it's properly going for it. And these brakes are just holding it back, and it gives you a horsepower reading. And it also allows you to steady state tune. Probably not at 5,000 RPM, you steady state tune up to about 3,000, 4,000. So I've done an hour of this on the dyno. Now we're in a wind tunnel at 60 mile an hour. The wind tunnel's about 50, 60 mile an hour. But you're doing 140, 150 mile an hour on the dyno, so it doesn't really compute and compare. So things get hot, very hot.
Yeah.
So I'm sat there and I'm tuning away, and the car's under a lot of load, and it's raw, but I'm mapping away, just getting the fuel ratios right. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, you've got an emergency stop on the dyno, and it's very easy to catch. And I must have caught it by accident, and it drags the car down. It just stalls the car. It drags it down. It slams the brakes on. And it stalled. It just dragged it down. Whoa, and then, and I'm like, what have I done? I thought I'd seized it up. I'm like, that's it. Engine's done. Onto a phone to America. Let's import another one. And I'm like, oh. So I'm sat there just going through the logs, because we log everything as we tune in. So we can always go back and reiterate what we've done. So temperatures, ignition timing, fuel ratios, we log it. So I'm just going back, and then I sort of glimpse up a little bit, and I see smoke coming out of the bonnet. Now, Camara's got vents, like grills on the bonnet, which go straight into the engine bay. Luckily enough, I said, I've never seen it. And I seen some smoke come up, and I'm like, yeah, I've properly seized this. I've overheated it, I've seized it up, everything's just melting underneath there. So I'm just sat in there, not even wanting to get out of the car. And then all of a sudden I see a lick of flame come out of the bonnet. And then I've never moved so fast in my life. I literally, laptop on my knee, threw my laptop off there. All wires are hanging off, headphones are off because I'm listening for knock detection. I jump out, and I remember Denton saying the fire extinguishers, we put them next to the driver's door. So I jump out, and I'm like, there's no fire extinguishers here. I'm like, what is going on? I pop the bonnet, ready to put it out, and I can't find fire extinguishers. Wind tunnel is still switched on, so I'm trying to walk to the front of the car with this wind tunnel. Anyway, I run to the back, switch the wind tunnel off, open the bonnet, and then woof, these fires going for it. And I'm just like, what am I doing? And you get that freeze moment, like, where you just,
Yeah.
So I run out of the dyno. So I've got the dyno's on film, actually. I'm there looking at it, trying to blow it out, looking for fire extinguishers. And I'm like, I'm just going to have to go and get someone. And this is out of my capability now. It's out of my realm. I'm going getting someone. So luckily, Denton had seen it on camera. He was already running towards me. I run out of the dyno. So you see me run out of the dyno, and the car's just sat there on fire. Denton runs, I run back in with Denton. He pushes, I stop at the car, like, look, like, help. Yeah. He pushes me out of the way and runs around the side of the car and gets a fire extinguisher. And I'm like, I was like, you said they were next to the driver's door. And he went, yeah, your car's left on drive. So I'm looking completely the wrong area. He pushes me, and I'm just like, he grabs fire extinguisher and puts it out. And I'm just like, wow. And I'm just like, that got me, that did.
Yeah,
After like 5 years, so I've had Camaro for 5 years now, 6 years, and that was the end goal, is getting this twin turbo 1,000 horsepower wheel horsepower car, and it was done. It was literally done. I'm thinking I've seized it, I've blown it up, and it's on fire now. End of an era. Puts it out, and I'm like, what happened there? And it turns out to be the spark plug leads on LS cars, on LS V8s, run through the exhaust manifolds. Literally just run through them. Now, there's plenty of room there for some reason, but the rubber boots that are on the plug leads just spontaneously combust. And it's really weird. It's always the same two on one side. But because it's now turboed, the exhaust manifolds are getting hotter than they used to be when they were supercharged. So I never encountered it when it was supercharged. And funnily enough, it's always when we break the 1,000 wheel horsepower mark, boom, it's on fire. And it's like, oh. So that was a bit of a scary time. So we sorted it out, didn't really think anything of it. Denton's like, it'll be fine on the road because you've got more wind. I'm like, right, okay. So anyway, I'm tuning away again, no worries. And everything actually was fine. We didn't really push it that much. Then we was going for the big horsepower runs, where it was like ramp run. We're not sat there steady state tuning anymore. We was going for a ramp run. So we lock it at 2,000 RPM, floor it, and then let it go. And it just does a full sweep of like a dyno run. And whoa, straight up, way past 1,000 wheel horsepower. So we're like, yes, nice one. Anyway, we see the smoke again. And I'm like, ugh. So we get out, open bonnet, it's on fire again. Oh, yeah, no worries. Oh, no. Denton was like, 1 minute, let me go and get my phone. And I need to take a picture of it. I was like, yeah, sure. I've got fire extinguisher in my hand, looking for my phone to try and get a picture just because whatever. Put it out and was like, right, okay, no worries. Change plug leads again. Right, let's go for another one. Did another one. Boom, on fire again. I'm like, come on. We've not got around it yet. So it's still doing it to this day. Every time I go past 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 wheel horsepower, it sets plug leads on fire. and I don't know what to do.
So, guys, if you're going to door bashes, you can see Chris on fire. Just look for the Camaro on fire, and he will do signings and take pictures and all the rest of it. It'll be melted at the end of the runway.
Oh, I should see your size at fire extinguisher and boot at Camaro now. Always carry it around with me.
Is Denton going to be running down the track with you behind you?
Pushing me out of the way.
So, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. As you can see, we are still in our camping chairs from the festival. Feel like we haven't come back from it. But yeah, it was a really, really good day. Full of energy. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was great. It was a massive turnout as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. I've not done it many times, but every time I've done it, it has been the same. Massive turnout. Lots of people, lots of friendly faces.
Yeah.
You know,
there's lots to do, and we're trying to have a break, but we've already got ideas for next year and the things that we're going to bring to it, even more stuff and make it even bigger and better every year. That's what it's about, bringing it back as a bigger and better thing. Yeah, and we smashed it this year. It was very popular. People were dancing into the night, and there was a lot of like good stuff going on. There was a lot of other stuff as well. There's not just our side, the car side. There is a lot of other stuff to it. Let's tell the people on listening to this where it all started. Back in the day, the original Leyland Festival was made for the workers of Leyland. So they were created from Leyland Motors. The people of the town came to this town to work here to create the vehicles. Not only for the early years, but then it moved on to the First World War, the Second World War. We have the Leyland trucks here now, Packard. Who are owned by Peterbilt and Kenworth over in America. And it was a proper festival to give back to the people something, each year. So this is an old festival. This has got roots, in this town for many, many years, over 100 years. And it died off like a lot of festivals. If you look at carnivals and festivals in the UK, they died a death. They really did die a death. And what we've done with the Leyland Festival is revived it. Like other ones like Lytham Festival, and there are ones popping up now here and there. And it's good to see this revival of festivals. But the Leyland Festival it was about the automotive history of the town of Leyland. So it's good to be a part of something, bringing it and reviving it. And this is why I wanted to add the vehicles back on, because the floats were there and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't have the vehicle aspect to it. And that's what I wanted to bring back, the vehicle aspect to it. It started from, the vehicle aspect started within here at Leyland Car Care, and it was literally 7 vehicles. And that was it. And it was only because it was Joe, who we worked with this year on the float side of stuff, invited us and said, I wanted to do a car show. I really wanted to do a car show. And then the people I was speaking to at the council and other people were like, well, you know how much it's going to cost? And I'm like, let's just park some cars on a field, it's fine, and all that. They went, no, that's not, you can't do that. You have to have infrastructure. You have to have all the people working. You have to have, bins and Irish fencing and all that. And it was like, oh my God. And when they were talking in numbers of thousands, that it cost. And then they went, it's not just like one day. I'm like, what do you mean? It will be. They just come on the day and then they go. And I'm like, no, because you have to have infrastructure set up on the Friday. Saturday's your show day. And then Sunday's the clean up. So you're actually paying for 3 days worth of stuff if you want to do it properly. And there'll be people looking at this going, nah, I chuck it on a field and it's right and all this. That's not doing it at the size that we do. Between 25,000 and 40,000 people come to this. This is a big, big event. So there's a lot of infrastructure, a lot of setup and all that goes into it. And we're trying to push it even further, aren't we? We're trying to get it to further afield and people, utilise the hotels in the area and get people to come and travel to it and all the rest of it. And going to, just so we can tell the viewers what it does and what it is this is a festival that starts in the town centre, and we fully parade through the streets, all the vehicles, all the floats, all the dancers, the singers, the marching bands, the Boris dancers, you name it, they're all there. And they all go through the town centre all the way to the park. And this is part of the tradition of Leyland Festival, is the parade that parades through the streets. It just makes it special. This is not like a car show where you just turn up and that's it. This is like your vehicles are going through the streets, and it adds that bit of difference, that bit of spice. You know, that bit. It adds that something that is different. And like I say, we started out with like literally 6 or 7 cars, but we had a massive mixture of stuff: commercial, modified, supercars, even a tuk-tuk.
It's definitely a natural.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the one that I had? The Jammy Dodger.
Jammy Dodger Blondie, yeah.
Insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah, I don't want to share it, to be honest.
It's
I've
the
still got it in the
spot,
car. I was going to take it home to share, but I don't think I will.
Sort your discounts up rest.
No, I got
really good.
the school, was it called school
School
tray
cake.
bake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of them. That took me right back.
It's great,
Yeah.
it's like being back
Yeah.
in year 11.
I've had 2 going on. I might get a 3rd one. I don't know if that's taking it too far, but I managed to get the whole
snuck a
tray.
tray to Tom, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What, of the school cake?
Yeah. I
You're
made it
not
special.
getting in that sleeker next week.
He's already snuck it into
Literally.
a camper van now. He's long gone.
So you've got a very interesting rap that gets a lot of attention, and you've been on an episode of Car Throttle as well.
I have been on an episode of Car Throttle. They did not talk too lightly about it. I'm going to say they gave a rather affectionate name. I said I like to call it the glitter box. They called it. I'll let everyone figure out what they called it. But yeah, hence in the name, it does have a very purple and very glittery wrap on it. Really shines, to be fair, at night though, so it does look quite cool. It's been lowered, underglow. I think it's a big thing as well. A lot of people point that out.
Yeah, it does look good at the
What
end
I
of the
want to know
night.
is who wrapped it.
Wrapped it. It was F4 Wraps in Leyland.
Right.
Unfortunately, they closed about a good year or 2 now.
Damn.
Since then, it's been our motor styling, to be honest. keeping it going. But yeah. So
You do know our friend here owns a wrap company.
I do. Oh my. Excuse me.
And don't you look like that, because if he booked it in, it would be 2027 when he could get it done.
Oh my.
The busiest wrap company on the planet.
Oh my. But yeah. Besides that, don't really know what else there is to talk about apart from it's just very slow. It's the best I can say. Hence the name Heartbroken as well. So Heartbroken, everything bloody overtakes it.
Oh, so is that where the Heartbroken name comes from?
That is where it
Heartbroken
came
Vito.
from. Yeah, so I felt like I needed a name that's going to stick in people's head. And it is a little bit, it's a bit controversial in a way, isn't it? A lot of people are like, ooh, is this guy just really down or something? And it's
That's
just...
exactly what I thought. I thought it was more you were heartbroken for some reason.
No. I get that a lot, to be fair. It's then opened that conversation. No, it's not me. It's just the car.
So, Sam, you've always been into cars, haven't you?
Yeah, obviously from when I was young, yeah.
You're young, and ever since I first met you here, it was a strange story how we met, weren't it?
Yeah, no, it was.
Everyone's got a strange story how they meet you.
Yeah, I know.
You're just dodged.
So
That's
this
what it
was
is.
a lad who used to work for me. We'll not mention any names. But he pretended that he was able to book a car in, and Sam was the customer.
I never knew this at the time.
And he basically...
Disclaimer.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. No.
And I didn't know the lad was even here doing the valet. And the car rolled back and he bent the door.
No way.
So I get a phone call off this gentleman. Like, you member of staff's bent my door back. And I'm like, you're not even supposed to be in
He
there.
said
Who are
we were
you?
meant to be shut today. That's what he said to me on the phone.
So then he was obviously a little bit of to and fro went, and then he kind of came down, didn't you, to go and see me? And ever since then we've been mates.
It was actually funny. I was in the toilet over there. I was in the toilet over there, and then I just heard something like go bang, and I've come legging it out. He's trying to push the car obviously forward, but the door's bent back on the wall. But it wasn't really his fault. It was really my fault because I never put the switch on the handbrake. So as he's gone in to hoover it or something,
it started rolling.
Yeah, he's rolled it back. Yeah. So there's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do. You know what I mean? It was a brand new car though, wasn't it?
It was a high car.
Yeah, it was a high car. So I had to get the door fixed. Obviously, I told him about it, and they just let it slide basically.
And
they
then
checked obviously to see if it was fixed properly.
And after that friendship was formed, you've had multiple cars over the years, haven't you?
To be honest with you, I won't let anybody wash my car if it's not Tim or someone who works for Tim.
So for everyone that talked up, have a happy Christmas and we'll see you in the new year. All the best. Take care.